Hello everyone, in this segment we will discuss about RBCs. That is red blood corpuscles. These red blood corpuscles or RBCs are also known as erythrocytes. When we talk of the shape of RBCs, it is different in other vertebrates and mammals. In other vertebrates like amphibians, reptiles, birds, that is red blood corpuscles, are spherical and nucleated. Nucleated means the cells which are having the nucleus with them. Whereas in case of mammals, these are enucleated at maturity. In case of mammals, the RBCs are enucleated at maturity. And this is important to write because when RBCs are young in mammals, they have nucleus as well as other organelles, but as they become mature, they lose nucleus and other organelles, and that's when they become enucleated at maturity. And there are two exceptions except camels and llamas. These two mammals have nucleated RBCs. So except these two mammals, that is camel and llamas, all other mammals have enucleated RBCs at maturity. The lifespan of RBCs is 120 days, that is life of RBCs is 120 days. Now let us see the size, number, and then we will come to the place where they are produced. When we talk of the size of RBCs, the diameter of the RBCs is 7 to 8 microns. So if we draw the structure of the RBCs, it is biconcave disc-like. So the shape of RBC is disc-like biconcave. And this biconcave nature or shape of RBCs is because in the center there is no nucleus. If there was a center, the shape or size of the RBCs would have been the bulge outward in the structure. In the center there is no nucleus, that's why it looks like the biconcave structure. The diameter of the RBCs, that is 7 to 8 microns. Here also diameter of red blood corpuscle is 7 to 8 micron. The thickness of RBCs is different in different regions. In the central part, it is 1 micron thick. But as we move towards the peripheral region, the thickness becomes 2 micron. This is because in the central part there is no nucleus. The size or shape of the RBC in that region is less, that is 1 micron, but as we move towards the periphery it becomes wider, that is 2 micron. So shape of RBCs is going to vary from 1 micron to 2 microns. Now let us see the number. The number of RBCs is numerous in females and males and different also. When we talk of the number of RBCs, it is the most numerous of all the three elements which are present in the plasma, that is RBCs, WBCs, platelets. So the RBCs are most numerous of all the three formed elements which are present in the plasma, and the number is 4.5 to 5 million per cubic millimeter. So when we take a smear or spread that blood and we take the area, that is cubic millimeter, then in that blood the number of RBCs is going to vary from 4.5 to 5 million, and this number is found in females and this is in males. And that's why we said that the number of RBCs is less in females as compared to the males, and this number of RBCs, that is 4.5 to 5 million, which is found in both males and females, is also called RBC count. So RBC count is the number of RBCs present in the males and females. This number, that is RBC count, increases in two conditions normally. Now what are those two conditions? It can be, or it increases during the heavy exercise, and if the person is at higher altitude, Now the reason why this RBC count increases in these two conditions is to supply increased oxygen demand during the heavy exercise and to take a more and more oxygen as the person is at a higher altitude where the oxygen concentration is less. So to take more and more oxygen, it would require more RBC number, because it is the hemoglobin which is to bind with the oxygen, and this hemoglobin is present in RBC. So if the person is exercising on a regular basis, his or her RBC count is going to increase as compared to the normal to fulfill that increased oxygen demand. And if the person is at a higher altitude or living there, or if we decide to go and stay there, then over a period of time our RBC count is going to increase, because at a higher altitude the oxygen concentration is less. So how do we take more and more oxygen is by increasing the hemoglobin content, and hemoglobin is present in RBC. So RBC count increases in these two conditions to fulfill the more oxygen demand. Now how does this RBC count increases? It is done with the help of the chemical which is released from the kidneys, that is erythropoietin. So erythropoietin from kidneys, it helps or triggers red bone marrow to form more RBCs. So erythropoietin is the chemical which is released by the kidneys, and it triggers the red bone marrow to form more RBCs, and this formation of RBCs is known as erythropoiesis. So erythropoiesis, formation of RBCs. So the process of formation of RBCs is known as erythropoiesis, whereas erythropoietin is the chemical which triggers or stimulates the formation of RBCs. This RBC count increases abnormally. Here it was a requirement based, that is more oxygen is required during the heavy exercise and if the person is at a higher altitude. If the RBC count increases abnormally, that is, increase in RBC count, and it could be because of any abnormal regions like chemicals, radiations. If there is an increase in RBC count, then that condition is known as polycythemia. If the RBC count decreases, that is falls in RBC count, and it could be because of accidental reasons like blood loss during surgeries, accidents, and it could also be the nutritional deficiency that would result in lowering the RBC count. And if there is a fall in RBC count, then that condition is known as erythrocytopenia. So these are two conditions where the RBC count increases and falls abnormally. If there is a fall in the RBC count, then the disease or the problem related to the body is known as polycythemia, and if there is falls in the RBC count, then the person have to suffer from the erythrocytopenia. The organs which are helping in the formation of RBCs are known as erythropoietic organs. So erythropoietic organs. In case of human beings, red bone marrow is the erythropoietic organs. So in humans, red bone marrow is erythropoietic organ, and it is after birth. In the fetal life or in the body of fetus, it is the liver which is the erythropoietic organ which helps in the formation of RBCs, and after birth this work or process of formation of RBCs is taken over by the red bone marrow. So this was all about the RBCs. We have few more points which we will take in the next video.